So I said, he called me in May of what, 2005? Around about winter. I then have a series of visits. I make it a regular stop to drop in on Rudi about every second Sunday and spend some time with him through his illness. I help him with his doctor. His doctor was rude to him, and it so happened that I treated the son of this doctor, so I knew him fairly well, the urologist. And I called him and I said, you have to treat this man differently. He came out of Auschwitz. You can't talk to him like you do, and you can't dismiss him the way you have. Changed. And I would see him and we help him some. He had another doctor friend, cardiologist, orthodontic friend of mine. And who knows what other connections he had that were a bit of a support system for him. And then in and about around February, I go for a visit, and he says, Robert, I want you to arrange for my funeral. Okay. What do you need? I said, nothing. I said, I'll arrange it. And I said, oh, I do need something. Hebrew names. I have them written down. His father's Hebrew name, which is like that, a name, Ben, the son of. And his mother's he couldn't recall. He thought it was Hannah. The Hebrew name was Hannah. She was, what was she, maybe Helen or something like that. I have it written down somewhere. And I should at that point, of course, have had his as well, because that becomes part of the package of understanding. He would have been buried as Rudolf Verba, but in the, say, memorial prayer for him, he would have been called Rudi, whichever it was, Reuben or something like that, son of. Well, what happened next was simple at first, and then it got very complicated. When you are unaffiliated to a specific synagogue that has its own burial grounds, as each major synagogue has, then it is the Orthodox cemetery that becomes the burial ground for anyone. Okay? So it is the general, so interestingly, it is the Orthodox cemetery that is the common burial even for those who didn't practice their Judaism or okay. Reformed Jews go to the Reformed cemetery, conservative Jews go to the other, Orthodox and those unaffiliated go to the same place. So I called Reverend Marciano and I said I'd like to reserve a grave site and I'd like it to be near the Holocaust Memorial, and he had it all, he arranged it. He was a wonderful man, arranged it. It was going to cost some money, no problem, we'll take care of all of that. And I reported back to Rudi that everything was arranged, and he didn't need to worry about it. He said, but you and I are talking about it, you talked about it with Robin. And that was one of the problems, was that when I visited, he'd exclude her. And I kind of wanted her to be part of some of these things because he was telling me things that a wife should know. And I asked him for permission sometimes to share something that I thought was particularly important, like a doctor's visit. To this particular doctor, for example, you know. You sometimes need an advocate when you go to see a doctor to help you through it and to help you remember what... he said that I'm not Orthodox. I said, well, do you think I am? You know, I mean, I belong to the Orthodox synagogue, but, you know, there's all stripes of us. So he was good with that. He was good with that. And then I called him. We were going to take I think a 2-week holiday down south. So I called him, so back in 2 weeks, Rudi will check in on you, and called him when I came back. Thank God he was still alive. I was worrying for him already by then because things got more serious. And he said, "It's off." I said, "What's off?" He says, "Funeral arrangements." And I said, "What happened?" He says, "I've decided that everything should be in the hands of family." He didn't say Robin specifically, but his family were daughters, Usha in England, and this Stefan Nagy, a little boy that was hidden in Montreal. I don't know that they got together or anything like that. I thought it was just Robin, and you know, when one thing about Rudi, when he tells you something is off, you don't argue.